So we're, just as a reminder to everybody, we'll be wrapping up this semester at the end of April. We'll take the month of May off because there's a lot going on in May, but we're going to be giving you marketing ideas for April and marketing ideas for May, each designed to generate 1,000 PV. So wouldn't that be a nice way to go into June with a 1,000 PV a month or more? That would be really cool. So but let's cover some of our, and then Laura Googie, she's the one I'm looking for now. And she's going to join us in our there she is.
So we'll start with this idea of the week that Becky Choate had. She's been doing this, I think, for quite a while, hasn't she, Byron?
Yes, she has,
And like she says, that in case this is helpful for those who have the ability to financially support their growing distributors. So this is an idea for that directors could use, or a business, a distributor building, if you've got a little extra cash, or could work something out with your upline.
And it's a tax deduction.
Right.
It's a promotional idea, and Becky has used the $5 number, but you know what? $3 is pretty appealing too. Right. It's a concept of it. So why don't you walk through that a minute?
Well,
Jen.
I think that she said that her team has been offering a $5 option with a monthly newsletter, where they advertise a particular product, and then if somebody purchases that product of the month, they can get $5 off each of the products that they purchase. So it's one product, $5 off. If you got 10, say if it was Nutriferin, and you ordered 10 Nutriferin, you'd get, potentially get $50 back.
Yeah, so and they did, and she sold 49 bottles.
Yeah.
And there's good PV on that.
Yes, and you have to look at, you don't look at it as a cost, you look at it as an investment, because it generated close to 1,500 PV.
It's fantastic.
In one year, they had 3,000 PV on Nutriferin alone.
Yeah. And so, pick one of the pricier products that are wonderful products that, people will see why they are more of a premium product. I would think it'd be a great thing to do with Vivix, Vitalizer.
Yeah.
MindWorks, there's a number there, just so spectacular. Let me test real quickly and see if I can hear Laura Googie. Laura, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. We wanted to invite Laura Googie on this morning. Maybe we could jump to that slide, and then we'll come back to that other one there. Laura is a brand new director.
Yay!
As of March, under Katie, and we wanted, last week we talked about in-home meetings, and we just wanted to share this aspect of in-home meetings that they use a lot in Katie's group, and Laura has used, of the grand opening. So, Laura, would you just tell us about that part first, of how you use grand openings in your business?
Yeah, so when I joined, Katie encouraged me to have a grand opening for just my local customers, whether I hosted it here or had it at a friend's house, and I did that, and later, about 6 months later, she had me do a Facebook grand opening, and so that was a way to kind of extend beyond just like my local friends and people that I saw on a regular basis, and also a very non-pressure way was to have the Facebook event, and so between the two, I would just say it was really great training for me, especially to have the local event, but Katie really prepared a lot of the stuff for the Facebook event too, and then she led, at my home event, she kind of led the whole event, and so it was non-pressure for me. I just brought my friends, and she was there to answer the tough questions, and I was there for free training and learn how to present and how the Shaklee events work, and it really helps build a core basis for my business. And you
sponsored some folks as a result of it.
Yeah.
Your first members.
I would say about half of the people that came to the event became members, and
Nice.
and then I also got a new distributor. So yeah, I mean, they were just really positive in so many different ways.
And then you did the same thing with with Christina, your new distributor.
Yeah.
Then you did the grant. And so it was the same. We have all the steps of it. In last week's session was excellent. Thank you, Lisa, for providing a lot of that, because I know that's been a major way that you have built your entire organization.
Right. Yeah.
So, so just consider, you can call it a grand opening, you can call it a launch event, launching your business. Thank you for helping you launch your business. Oh, wait, I just locked Hans out of the room because we are, by the way, I was going to tell you this. We are having rather serious weather here and thunderstorms, and so just in case I should suddenly disappear, because now the lightning strikes have stopped for a minute, but at any rate, it's always exciting in the spring when we're on these calls. So I had to double lock the door because the dogs get all freaky, and Jakey wouldn't stay out of the room, and that's all you need is for the mailman to arrive, and then here we go. Anyway, so back to Laura Googie here, and so Laura, then could you just take another moment and share, as you think about your road to director, you had some extenuating circumstances, right, for getting to director because you already work another job.
Yes, so I work out of the home. For my husband, we're self-employed, and that job does vary based on, day to day what I have to do. And so I have just kind of learned how to incorporate Shaklee into my business, into my life, into, the hours in the day, and grow a business, So, I mean, I kind of always have a checklist in front of me, like either people that I have to call back or follow up on, and sometimes that checklist doesn't get done as quickly as I'd like to get it done, but it gets done. And so over time, I was just able to see, when I was consistent with doing the business the way that you guys have shared with us, it really works. I had the confidence in the product, and I had the confidence in you guys knew what you were talking about. And so when I put all those things into action, it paid off over time. And so what I tried to do is I tried to be, excuse me, consistent with growth. So if I would have a growth one month, I would try to be consistent that next month. And okay, what can I do next month that was maybe different? What does my time schedule look like? Can I host an event? Can I have a booth somewhere? Can I make more phone calls? Can I set up three-way calls? And one of the things I was able to be the most consistent was being on these Thursday morning trainings. And so that really helped me just kind of get my mind going first thing in the morning on Thursdays. And usually by the time I was through that hour of training, my mind was spinning. So just making those lists of what I wanted to put into action after the training calls, and then doing my best to put that into action, within the next week.
Very smart.
Really helps too.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I love is your life is so typical of so many working moms. That plus you've got these two adorable little kids is that we're looking at right here, is that this is how many people have to start their Shaklee businesses, tucking it in around their life. And this is why what you're describing and calling your checklist, that's the working folder that we talk about. It's that place where Laura goes when she only has a half hour here, 20 minutes here. She can open that working folder, and she has it all laid out, who she's going to call, what she's going to invite them to, has her calendar there, has the contacts there, and that's how you can be efficient. So she was able to advance to director, working sometimes 5 to 8 hours a week is all she had, but she knew where she was going, and she was able to just consistently set up the meetings, the phone calls, the three-way calls, and so on. So
if we listened to Barb, what she was doing in those 5 to 8 hours, it was all productive people work.
Contact stuff, right, exactly.
Other than, she was on Thursday morning training, but she was working with people, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You know what? When she said that, I was thinking about one of our listeners one time told us that she said that she advised when people come to Thursday morning to always come with paper and pencil, because she said as she hears the stories and the ideas that are shared, she said people come to mind. And so she said she is always writing down names of people and ideas that come to her of things, just like Laura said, it's just your head just gets full of great ideas that then as soon as the call's over, you know who you're going to call, what you're going to do. Okay?
Smart. Well, Katie's not here, but I can run through this if you want me to. It's just we can wait for her, but poor thing.
She won't. I don't think we'll be seeing her. That was just a slide I advanced from last week.
Yeah, we just wanted people to know that the value in doing
Well, and they can also see, because I've got one on the clock here, we can see if you click through these, there were, 3 or 4 slides here, Joe, that were from last week for them to see that we've given them the resources, the value of the importance of these in-homes, especially, Lisa, for your business. And you know, Lisa, this would be a good place to mention also that your business has been advancing. You're a senior executive coordinator, but you, in the last, 3 months, your OV, your organization volume has increased by 6,000, did you tell me?
Yes, and we're very excited because it's marching us to the next goal, which we're really hoping to hit. So,
Key coordinator is next. And so there's a big jump of OV from senior exec is 30,000 to key, which is 50,000. So to be going up in increments of 6,000 in chunks, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
every quarter, absolutely. And you've got 2 people who are aiming for director in March. So, you know, I need to be reminded to introduce you and Katie and tell people about what's happening in your businesses as we go along, because this is why we ask you to lead our calls. So with that, I think we should get started.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. We are on session 12 of our Legacy and Leadership Spring Training, and today is going to be a really special day because it is about the Shaklee legacy of environmental stewardship, and we're going to really just get to delve into something so special about who we are in our company and what we stand for, and then we're going to talk about spring product collections as well, so it'll be a great day. Very excited. So here's our objectives. We really want to better understand and just open up the discussion about the level of stress being placed on our planet, just to get a little bit more of an understanding of what's going on. And then understand the role we have as a company and as individuals and the things that we can do to make a nice impact and a beneficial impact towards protecting our environment. Understand the leadership that our company has taken, and this is, again, very special because we have, I think, just some wonderful things to be proud of about our company and who we are. And then we get to think about our role and what we can do to share the word with others and help other people be inspired to just make very simple but beneficial decisions. And then we'll talk about strategies for April that are going to give us some great concepts for building and generating 1,000 PV through different product selections. So it'll be a good day, and we're excited to be here. Yeah.
Hang on to your seats.
That's right. That's right. And this is a wonderful quote from Dr. Jane Goodall, and it really is quite impactful. She says, "Only if we understand can we care. Only if we care can we help. And only if we help shall all be saved." So it's that wonderful way to start out our session today. So. And then now this, I think, I love sharing this part, and I think Barb for this slide because I've used it in lots of different presentations. But this gives us a nice overview of the different places that Shaklee has impacted. And I think the slide might be animated. There it comes. And so you can see clear back in 1960 and 1972 where Dr. Shaklee brought some safe, environmentally safe and safe for us products into the home, knowing that is a huge place ways that we can impact what's going out into the environment is what we're washing down our drains, right? So that was the beginning for us. And then Jacques Cousteau selected Shaklee for his vessels. I believe that Shaklee is the only products he's ever used on his vessels, which is really important because his understanding of the water and not polluting it. A Million Trees in Nepal. Shaklee selected for Biosphere 2. I didn't know much about Biosphere until recently. That is a fantastic thing to Google if you're curious. It's amazing. The Arctic Ocean Exploration. This is Will Steger, and I will tell you, I had the opportunity to listen to Will speak for about 10 minutes, I think back in 2007 at the San Francisco conference.
I remember that.
It impacted me more in terms of my view and my understanding of the environment, because a lot of times when we're talking about environmental issues, it becomes very polarizing, very political, and gets just, quite honestly, stupid, because it becomes a tool that people want to use for agenda. And being able to hear Will talk about what he's seen and the things that he has noticed, and he just talked about knowing tribes and groups of people that have had to completely change the way they've lived from existence because the way their environment has changed. It was just very impactful. So we're to have him be a part of kind of what Shaklee has done in the Arctic Ocean exploration. And then if you ever get to go to the headquarters and have a tour, there is this wall of awards that we have gotten, and it's just incredibly moving and touching what Shaklee has received in terms of awards for very proactive and very beneficial things that they've done in the environment. So the EPA Climate Protection Award, I think right there in that little blank spot, there it is. First company, I was waiting for it.
Hang on.
She likes a dramatic entrance, Lisa.
Yes, because this is an important thing. The first company to get climate neutral certified, the first company to receive that certification year after year, and we're the only company to receive it year after year. This is a very big deal. And kind of going back to the headquarters, I mean, when you go there, our company, our headquarters gets studied from places all over the world by the way they've developed it, because the carpet's made out of recycled rubber.
Oh, wait a minute. I have Katie's.
Oh.
Someone has a dog barking, and it's not me this time. It's unusual. Okay, keep going. Okay.
So it's just neat to know the extent that Shaklee has gone to be very, very proactive and thoughtful environmentally, and in ways that most people don't ever know. And so that is a pretty amazing thing. And if these are things you don't know, dig in a little bit. I'd say get out to the home office and take a tour, because it will change your life. It's awesome. And then, of course, the Million Trees in U.S. and Kenya. So we have this wonderful legacy of really powerful and valuable, not showy, but really valuable things that Shaklee has done that are we should be very proud of.
And they've done a lot of those things. They've done quietly. They haven't done them for the purpose of public relations. When they were supporting Will Steger, the measurements that he took back in the 80s with his team, those measurements became the base for measuring the amount of loss on the polar caps. And you may be aware that in Antarctica we've lost chunks of the polar cap in Antarctica the size of Rhode Island. And so it was his measurements that allowed them to see the extent to the loss of that. So you know about the polar bears drowning because the loss of the ice. And when he came to the Shaklee conference that you were referring to, Lisa, he brought with him an Inuit elder who lives up in the Arctic, who shared how much of their life is dependent on the weather. And I remember Rick Seymour saying that the Inuits have, isn't it something like 15 different words to describe snow? Because it's so important to their life, and now the permafrost is lost. So it's wonderful to know that we helped contribute a lot to the science of it, so that we're measuring and trying to understand what is happening. So and then when they did climate when they became the first company to be certified climate neutral, their hope in that was a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
To imagine measuring all the energy used in your manufacturing processes and operating your business offices, your employees, travel even, was all factored in. And then they reduced it as much as they could, and then they created these offset projects for the things that they just simply couldn't eliminate entirely, so that they offset whatever else they couldn't. And they were beautiful projects, like bringing clean water into.
They replaced the heating system in a school, I believe it was in Oregon, because they were using outdated.
And they did one in Africa. They brought one of the projects was bringing clean water and electricity into a area in Africa. They did another one with biofuel. So it was really tremendous. So now, just this spring, they've done yet another one. So Joe, tell us about this.
And Shaklee's commitment to being an environmental steward continues. I don't know. Hopefully, most of you are aware that California is facing one of the most severe droughts they've ever had in history. They are now in the 4th year of a drought, and that's impactful for all of us because it affects agriculture, affects our food supply, affects food prices.
Right.
And
the governor has just declared a mandatory 25% reduction of water use, and something like a third of all the produce in the United States comes from California. So it's very, very serious.
And that's something we should be concerned about. But, then here's Shaklee. Enter Shaklee, a company we can be so proud of. And I feel so privileged to be involved with it because it does not wait for public opinion. It doesn't wait for laws to be passed. It doesn't wait for mandatory restrictions to do the right things. They do them ahead of, when they should be done. And here is an example of this water-saving initiative that Shaklee started, quite a while ago, but it's been very active for 8 months. And this is our world headquarters that Lisa was talking about a little bit ago. And it's just an incredible facility, and its environmentally soundness is amazing. I remember years ago when they took us on a tour that the carpeting there is all done in squares, so that if somebody spills coffee or there's dirt,
damage,
you just take out some squares. You don't have to rip out all the carpeting and then replace it.
And it's made from recycled plastic somehow, plastic pop bottles or something. I know.
And then the lighting in the building, where the lights automatically dim and decrease and increase in lightness depending on the position of the sun and how much light's coming into the building. And so, it's part, like we often say, being a good steward of the environment is part of our DNA. And so, with this drought going on in California, Shaklee they became an early proponent of sustainability, and so naturally Shaklee wanted to do their part in the face of the drought. And they joined a sustainability circle in Pleasanton, and these were the actions that Shaklee took, installing water softeners and aerators on faucets and low-flow shower heads and all of those kinds of things. And what resulted was a water reduction of almost 50% in 8 months.
Incredible.
I mean, it almost boggles the mind, in terms
Look
of...
at that. That's 1.6 million gallons in 8 months. But wait, there's more.
And here's one of I love this picture.
I said to Joe, do we really need a picture of... He said, yes, it's my favorite one.
Do.
Well, it's a shot of 2 of the members of Shaklee's facilities team in one of the water softening units that they installed. Well, I mean, again, when you think about the massive impact this drought is having, and in comparison to that's the simplicity, really, of what Shaklee has done. But they put some minds to it. They studied the problem. They came up with a multitude of solutions, and then one of them was installing these water softening units that resulted in almost a 50% reduction in their water usage. So it's just, to me, it was a picture that impacted kind of my brain. And then there was the efforts to do the water saving actions in terms of the irrigation, and here they reduced. There was like a 56% reduction, another 1.2 gallons of water saved in 8 months.
Millions. Millions.
Yeah, thank you.
And by the way, so you're seeing the picture of the campus, the back of the campus, and at lunchtime they all go out there and they play soccer, and there's they play basketball and
walk that circle and. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's a wonderful facility, and you can see the water saving initiatives they took to reduce irrigation, and they switched to drip irrigation versus pop-up sprinklers. So just looking at it, so overall, it results in a 2.8 million savings of 2.8 million gallons of water in 8 months.
8 months.
Wow.
And so the city of Pleasanton wanted to give them this award, but also encourage all the other companies
and
to follow
businesses.
suit.
Right.
Which is,
Yeah.
That's what leadership is about. And I just.
So I think they've been in front of the Pleasanton City Council twice. I think there was an initial presentation and then this update that they just did now in April. Mm-hmm. And and you might say, well, and the value of saving 2.8 million gallons of water. I just Googled California drought, and I mean it's almost nerve-wracking to read some of the issues around this drought. But one of the things that I was reading where NASA is saying that California could run out of water in a year.
Oh my gosh!
Totally run out of water. They have pictures of the shrinkage of the snow caps and stuff. So saving 2.8 million gallons of water in 8 months is huge.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's so like Shaklee.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
It's awesome. All right.
Crystal?
Yes, and try Crystal. And I just want to say, in intro, Crystal, is that when I started doing some research about thought it would be good for us because we represent a company that has been giving this type of leadership for 60 years, and we have a product line that is very important for people to understand the impact that we can have as an individual. And we were thinking about who do we know who really cares about environmental things and knows the subject. And Crystal Johnson popped into our heads immediately because Crystal has been a part of commissions within her county dealing with all kinds of environmental issues, from landfill, Crystal, to...
Yes, we've got, like every county, we have the issue. The landfill is a huge issue because nobody wants a new one in their backyard, so that you can never get one approved. And the ones that are existing keep filling up, and we keep finding ways to increase the efficiency of them. Yet the reality is that the more things we spend to the landfill, the sooner we will run out of landfills.
We'll fill them up, right. So give us kind of an idea so that we're aware of what has been happening globally, so we understand what kinds of things we may want to do to help improve the situation.
Yeah, Barb and I, you pulled some good statistics here from the National Geographic News, and this is kind of the spaceship view of things, and I love the little picture of this Earth. But we don't hear a lot about these issues in the news. We hear more of the local issues, but going through here to this big long report, nearly 2/3 of the Earth's life-supporting ecosystems are being degraded by unsustainable use. And sustainability is a word that you hear a lot thrown around, but we don't often know what it means. And it means a lot of different things, and there's a lot that we can do. Humans have caused much of the damage over the past half century to all of our ecosystems, and the already grim situation may worsen dramatically during the first half of the 21st century, unless we take some drastic measures. Going to the next slide, to some of the state of the planet issues that we have here. 10 to 30% of the Earth's mammals and birds and amphibians are facing extinction, and that once a species goes extinct, it affects all kinds of other species downline of them. We can expect more violent weather. Deforestation alters our ecosystems and promotes diseases. We've heard a lot about Ebola lately, and there are lots of other diseases that just become rampant as the ecosystem ceases. And floods have become more severe and more destructive. This little box down here at the bottom has some, pretty scary stuff in it, but basically it says that the future is really within our hands, and there are things that we can do. And we'll talk about those a little bit later. And there are many, many little changes that, when each person makes a little change and you multiply that by thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, it makes a huge difference.
Very good.
There are also political fallout from some of the issues that are facing us around the environment, of all things. This is a report that just recently came out from the Pentagon, and this is kind of something that I never really thought about much, but it makes sense. The impacts of the climate change, because of it uprooting and displacing large numbers of people, can actually undermine some gradual governments because of the movement of people, and that the gaps in the governance can create an avenue for the extremist ideologies and conditions that foster terrorism. And these are statements that are being made by the Pentagon, and we've seen a lot of it in the news lately, and it kind of
and in Africa, that's a major issue in Africa, because the desert keeps advancing, and then people have no water and they have no food, and so they have to move in areas.
Yeah.
And then people, who are there with their limited resources, they start to fight then with these intruders, and it's a mess. So I just never thought about it. And this is where, for those of you who are new, you may not know about our association with this wonderful Nobel Peace Prize recipient, Wangari Maathai, who is from Kenya. And we ended up being in a beautiful partnership with her, with our company. And she was the first person ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for work in the environment. And it was the first time the Nobel Committee recognized the connection between the environment and peace, because all these tribes had lived peacefully on this mountain in Kenya for years and centuries, and then in comes a company that clear cut all the trees, and then it eroded all their soil, and then there was no wood for their fires, there was no food, and now all those tribes began warring with one another over limited resources. It was just another example of it. And she came back from her studying in the United States, came back to her country to see this, what had happened, and she began a a tree planting project, and it eventually grew into what was called the Greenbelt movement, and it was just amazing how all of that got restored. So it's really an example of this. Thanks,
You know what?
Crystal.
When we were in Kenya back in 2012, we got to meet Wangari Maathai's daughter because, of course, Wangari had passed away earlier that year. And I'll tell you, I think Dave and I both cried. Just her sharing her heart and the heart of her mother. But one of the things that struck me most is how beautifully she put into words the match and the camaraderie and the sisterhood of Shaklee and Wangari, because of the heart for change and the heart for people and the heart for good. Honestly, it was quite a extraordinary. Her daughter is just as extraordinary as she is. Quite an amazing moment. But that woman changed the whole entire country of Kenya. Amazing.
Yeah, and we have her book. It's wonderful. So what do we take away from this? If we don't take better care of the earth, remember, there is no planet B. And and I love that when I saw that, I was reminded of that John F. Kennedy quote that I grew up, reciting over and over. And he would say to us, remember, kids, your whole life you're going to have to make choices. You're either going to be part of the problem or you're going to be part of the solution. So what we want to share with you today is all the ways in which we as individuals within our homes can be part of the solution. And we have the remarkable privilege of also being able, through the products that we represent, to be able to share those with others so that they can be part of the solution as well.
Mm-hmm. And so then that brings us to us and what we can do and what do we want to do. And so this is just a great transition now into talking about what we have to offer and the impact it can make, and how we can use some product groupings to really reach out there and to take advantage of the conversation that we can kind of spur on. So here's a few ideas of what you can do with the Get Clean Starter Kit. Now I will mention that one of my favorite things to share when we're talking about the Get Clean products is what the kit does. And you can see right in your catalog, every time someone purchases a Get Clean Starter Kit, they save 108 pounds of packaging waste, 248 pounds of greenhouse gases. It's the equivalent of planting 10 trees, right? So all of that can be a part of your language when you're sharing this kit, saying, I just want to do what I can, and this is a great way for me to make an impact in these areas. So you can offer half shipping off the purchase of your kit, or a free scour off, which is kind of something our group does all the time because scour off is so fun to promote. It's amazing. You can offer a free basic aid with spray bottles, but think about hosting a Make Everyday Earth Day party, or Save the Earth, Save Money, Save Lives. We know that what's good for the environment is good for people. It's a great connection to kind of tie that in. And then what about making a contribution? This is a really fun way to say, you know what, right? This season, our organization wants to really make an impact on things that are going on with the environment, and so for every Get Clean Starter Kit we sell, we're going to make a donation to one of these groups. So it's a neat way to kind of get behind a product line that makes a big difference and really share it in kind of a new aspect. So
very good. Crystal?
I love that kit, and I love this picture because it just really shows the big pile of stuff that we can keep out of the landfills by buying the Get Clean Starter Kit. And actually, this is how I started as a product user, by buying the Oprah kit off of her Earth Day show back in 2007. And it really made such a difference for me as far as the impact that it had on the environment. It basically turned into a pretty good business for me. So this pile really is a great picture to share with people, because anyone who's concerned with the environment will get it.
Good point. And so then when you look at our Get Clean Starter Kit, it's $99. There's 50 PV, so you can create Earth Day specials around it. Again, so just kind of mention some of the things I talked about. But using that kit to promote a message and promote an idea and maybe a little inspiration, but also, offering some things around to kind of get the word out. So. And then you can kind of see here all of the awesome things that are in the kit and all of the things it contains. So the value of this kit is undeniable in terms of the financial savings. It's pretty extraordinary. There's just, you can't find a downside to sharing Get Clean. It is absolutely a brilliant product line. Saving money, save the environment, save your health. It's just really, really good. So
good. Click.
Saving the health component is important there also because of the effect that switching cleaning products to Get Clean can have for people with upper respiratory issues or skin, issues, inflammatory skin conditions. So that's that was a good point, Lisa, to put in there. It's save your health too.
Yeah. All right, Crystal.
And Joe, you're so right, because I just posted a picture on Facebook of all the pollen all over my car, and it's gotten so much response from people and has really allowed me to open up that line of communication about the Get Clean products as well as some of our other products. And the Get Clean is really where it starts, and especially if you have pets or children who are closest to our cleaning products. These are some earth-friendly actions, some things that we can do, each of us, to make a huge difference in the environment. The organic produce has, of course, organic produce has more vitamins and minerals in it because they have to struggle a little bit more to grow, but it also allows them to use less water. And when they grow, the non-toxic personal care products, we know where we can get those. And the household cleaners, obviously, the Get Clean products we've talked about quite a bit. And even some things that you may not think of, like the pills for your dog and cat instead of flea collars, because what do you have to do with those flea collars eventually? You have to dispose of them. And
and you can touch your dogs in the meantime, petting them and so on. And now you're spreading those poisons all over your house, yourself, your skin. And by the way, Basic H is a great way to drown fleas. It doesn't work for ticks as well, because ticks is a different situation. But if you live in areas where there's certain seasons of the year where fleas can be a problem, and you bathe a cat or a dog in Basic H. Bathing cats is tricky. Be careful.
Yes.
There's a way to do that, though. But at any rate, it drowns them without using those poisonous flea shampoos too. So that's a really great.
I think you have to wear a hazmat suit when you wash your cat doing it.
Yep, and even others.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say this next point. I never thought about paper towels.
Yeah.
And toilet paper being chlorinated.
Yeah, to keep them white.
Sure.
Wow. It's a bleach.
Yeah.
Many products are bleached, and you can buy unbleached versions of most paper products, or you can do, like it says here, switch to cloth napkins, which we did in my house years ago, and it actually always gets comments when we have someone over new for a picnic or dinner, and helps to spread that point even further to people. Mm-hmm. And drastically cut the amount of energy your computer and monitors use by putting them in sleep mode, using the screensavers. Some of them are really pretty, but they serve a purpose as well.
Huh. Good points.
I never knew that screensavers use more energy. That's another great one. Some really good ideas here. Yeah. This comes from there's some environmental group called NDC. I didn't know what it was, but I thought their list was really great. Yeah,
and we've all heard about putting on power strips, I hope, onto your equipment so that it's just it makes it easier for you to shut them off, especially if you're going on vacation. You can just flick the switch. You're not going to be there anyway. You don't need to be using what they call the phantom charges from your electric company, and those add up. Replacing your light bulbs with the compact fluorescents, but now even the LED.
LED, yeah.
Oh, I'll change that. Mm-hmm.
They use even less, even significant amount less. they're more expensive, but they also last for years.
They last forever, yeah.
And inflating your tires once a month, oddly enough, yep. And you know who's really cognizant of this are school districts. They make sure their school bus tires are properly inflated and check it a lot more often than once a month because it costs them money.
Look at that. You could save 2.8 billion gallons of gas a year?
Yeah, we could if...
Holy camole.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then other little things like replacing the air filter on your engine, but this also holds true for in your home, replacing the air filters on your air conditioning units. Helps them to run more efficient.
Yeah, that one too. Okay.
And air travel it pollutes the environment quite a bit, so any time that you don't need to take a flight and can do it the old
way. So we're gonna walk to Cleveland.
Walking or riding your bike, that's the best way.
That'd be great. That's great.
Wow.
And don't leave the water run. This was a message way back when my kids were little from Barney. Never leave the water run when you're brushing your teeth. But it holds true for, washing dishes and you're, reaching for going and getting the plates off of the table, and meanwhile this water's running in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
Turning that off, and don't flush your medications down the toilet. A lot of people, don't finish their medications and they just don't want to keep them around, and their first inclination is to flush them down the toilets, and that is really polluting our water supply right now.
Mm. And when you're in water sensitive areas, I'm also very aware every time you flush the toilet, that's something like 7 gallons of water that goes down. So, you want to try to reduce the amount of flushes that you do also.
Well, you can buy the low flushing.
Mm-hmm. And which is one of the things Shaklee did at home office.
Right.
And the new construction now requires the low flush toilet.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned way of doing that, if you still want to be environmentally conscious and not have to replace your toilets, put a brick in the back of your water tank in your toilet.
Yeah, I heard that. Interesting.
Very good. Okay, so Crystal, here's this wonderful quote from Margaret Mead.
Yes, never doubt that a small group of thought-committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, and that is so true. This reduce, reuse, recycle campaign has been very successful. People, it's a good visual. People get it. They understand it. And one thing that, we didn't mention that Barb and I talked about briefly last night was adding to the list from before, composting. Some municipalities compost and ask that you put your compostable materials in separate containers, but you can also compost at home. I live in a subdivision, and we have all kinds of rules here, yet I have 2 composters and have since we moved in 15 years ago. There are lots of reasons to keep that kind of waste out of the landfill, not the least of which is, it creates methane gas, but it also increases the rodent population in the area, and those rats actually hitch rides under the undercarriage of trash trucks and then drop themselves off in people's neighborhoods. So...
You see, this is why we invite Crystal, because she knows all
these insights,
important details about the environment that we will want to know. Yes, but I didn't realize. I thought of composting as yard waste, as leaves and sticks and things when you're cleaning up your yard. Composting is anything that is organic. It is, the banana peels, and I have a huge amount of, because we use almost all fresh vegetables and fruits, and so I'm always, when I prepare dinner, you're cutting up fruits and vegetables. There's a lot eggshells, all that kind of stuff, coffee grounds, and I didn't realize that is a major contributor to methane gas in the landfill. So they now have these wonderful little kitchen composters, and where I live in Oak Park, they have composting is one of the 3 options you have when they pick up your garbage each week. So you've got your garbage, your recycling, and your composting.
Oh, interesting.
So, and it's a great thing to do. And even if a composter is not expensive, and you can put it in your yard, and you can put your own compost in there from your kitchen composting, and it makes you feel so good. And we have hardly any garbage. There's hardly anything that goes in the garbage part anymore.
Nice.
What are you going to put in there? Maybe some packaging. And another thing to think about, when you are buying produce in the store, when you're buying anything in the store, choose the option that has the least packaging. That's another good thing to do. Okay, Lisa.
Yeah, very good. Good stuff, Crystal.
Before you go, can I just put one more plug in here for finding out where in your community is the local recycling center, and try to utilize that, because we haven't had trash pickup at our house for, I don't know, years and years, because if you take, in our county, if you take your recycling to the recycle center, for 50 cents, you can also dispose of your trash that is not recyclable. And we maybe have 1 bag a week or one every week. And so it's actually a cost savings to not pay for it.
Very
well,
good.
I just have to say I'm inspired. This is good stuff. Thank you, Crystal, for helping us out with so much great perspective this morning. Nice job. Wow. My brain is still wrapping around that trash comment. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. We have a big family, but I just feel guilty. I'm going to work on those things. But okay, so let's talk about a little bit of just some dialogue and some languaging you can use when you're getting ready to talk about Earth Day and share some products around it. So I love this concept, and here's an idea you can do. Every year for Earth Day, I make a commitment to introduce 50 families to non-toxic, earth-friendly cleaning products. They are amazingly economical, and then what if you just did the calculation and you figured out, well, 50 times 108 pounds of packaging waste, 50 times 248 pounds of greenhouse gases, that would be, 50 Get Clean kits. And what if you said, and so it's just a little way that I can impact the environment on this, it's like planting 5,000 trees, right? 50 times 100, right? So, or 50 times 10. Anyways, it's a great concept to just get out there and let that be kind of your drive, but a really wonderful way to impact families and to grow your business. So here's some good questions. You could ask people, who do you know that has family members with allergies or asthma? You can say, who do you know who might be wanting to save some money on their cleaning products? It's a great way to share Get Clean. People that want to make a very easy impact on the environment. I love all of the things that Crystal shared because they're kind of common sense things that someone just needs to tell us about, Common sense, and they're easy little changes, but they make a big impact, and that's really how we can market Get Clean as well. So, and then people, I think the bottom line they want to know about Get Clean is, do the products work? And, of course, we know that they work really, really well. And so I don't think I've ever sold Get Clean products to someone that hasn't loved them. I mean, they're really
right.
So use Earth Day in your movement to promote something that's good. And then, of course, you could do fundraisers. There's a lot of really smart, creative people out there that do fundraisers, and they offer Basic H and the spray bottles and little kits, and then for every kit purchase, they can donate something to a nonprofit organization or a school or something to that. And I'll tell you what, just kind of speaking of kids, families love the idea of Basic H in their house, because you can teach your kids to clean the house for pennies per use. It doesn't hurt their skin, their lungs, their eyes, and it's good for them to get that experience. So it's just another way to talk to families about Basic H, is get your kids into cleaning the house. So, why not, right?
Right, yay.
And then there's some great tools out there. I love this real Dirt on Clean video that we have from Shaklee. There's a couple of other really great videos out there. I love, if you want to do a little Google search, you can find one with Oprah. You can find one from the Rachel Ray Show. this is a wonderful little resource that we can use to share and start the conversation and talking to people. So look at this. In honor of Earth Day, I set a goal to share this video with 10 people to get the word out. Would you allow me to share it with you? I've seen some great campaigns going around Facebook right now for different things that people want to support, and they'll tag 10 people and challenge them to share it with 10 more people. That's something you could do, with a video clip like this. It could touch a lot of lives. So just ideas to reach out and share and inspire people to learn a little bit more. So, all right. So now let's talk about some collections. So we have here a couple of 50 PV and 100 PV Earth Day collections that you can kind of just wrap your mind around to go out and to promote these kits. So you have the Get Clean Starter Kit, which is 50 PV. What if you added the Vitalizer to that? I have kind of created a little dialogue when I share another product line with people, be it the skincare kit or the Get Clean Kit, and I'll say, but I also want to mention to you the #1 selling product in my organization because people love it so much. So I just want to show you the Vitalizer. Just in case you supplement or you're looking for something, this is the greatest way to start. And I get a lot of responses from that because I love Vitalizer and I think it's so good. That's a great way to get 100 PV right there. So you can see some options here with the Household Mini Kit. And then Performance, Energy Chews, Pain Cream, those are all great spring products right there that people really get excited about using. And then you could also have this kit over here on the right where you have Basic H and Scour Off, and then a 180 Smoothie and Vital E, and it's just a nice collection that has a good little PV with it that you could reach out and share with people and create a little bit of a conversation around, right?
Yeah, and then if we just think about, okay, one of these collections is 50 plus PV, so if you shared it with 10 people, that's an additional 500 PV you have for the month.
That's right. And that's
not rocket science, I guess. It's
kind of how you set a goal to increase your PV, but then you break it down with just a strategy, and that's really what these are. It's a strategy to grow your PV with really marketable product collections, and It works, right? It works.
Absolutely.
And you know what else? It's Earth Day. If there's a company that should own Earth Day, it's Shaklee. And for us to say, the importance to me of Earth Day is just to remind everybody that, depending on where you live, you may be oblivious to what's going on in poor old California. So it's a really good time for all of us just to be reminded of this stuff. And when we call our customers and it's all the news is good for them. It's safer for them. It's safer for the earth. The products work unbelievably well, and it saves them money. There's like all the news is good for them. It's the easiest sale you'll ever make.
I agree. It's a win-win-win is what I say. It's just a no-brainer. It's so good. So I'm looking at this wonderful collection of allergy products, and I'm thinking they must come from Canada because the labels are unique. I just noticed this. Where did you get these pictures? They're very interesting. I like them.
Old Google Images, that's where they come from.
There's new words on
Hawkeye here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So this is also an incredible time of year to talk about allergies, and I'll tell you, I saw I think it was the Today Show just a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying, and I know they say this every year, but they were really serious. This is going to be the worst allergy season ever. And they had their reasons and the weather, and I mean, it was like serious. And then, so the question was, what can people do? And their solution was to start taking all of your allergy meds before you have the symptoms. And I thought, oh, well, that's just horrible. So even before you're suffering, let's let you suffer with the side effects of all these medications. So we have something so profound to share with people in terms of an allergy product collection. And I am just thrilled every spring when I have my members tell me, multiple members say, I did not have any allergies this year. I can't believe it. One of our new builders, she told me the other day, her husband moved up from the Philippines a few years ago, and he has terrible allergies, completely shuts him down. And she got him on garlic and alfalfa and Nutriferon, and he has no allergies at all, none. She said he goes to work, this is so cute, I love this, he goes to work and people at work are suffering with allergies, and he says, you need to get Shaklee'd up. He created a whole new term for us to use now.
Good one.
But isn't it sweet? I love it. But here's the point, is they really do work. work, and people really are suffering out there. And this is a nightmare when the rest of us run out the front door with our arms open, spinning and singing like, the hills are alive and all that, because the weather is good. Some people are hiding in their houses. I had one, this is so funny. I'm so sorry. I have to tell you this story, and then I promise I'll move on. I have one member in my group that had allergies so bad that she would be in the front yard with her kids, and the wind would blow, and she would grab the kids screaming, run in the house, the wind is blowing.
Oh, no.
Oh,
She literally
it's
developed
terrible. It's terrible, and terrible for little kids.
Yeah, and her eyes would swell shut, and she couldn't breathe. Her kids literally have this really weird phobia about the winds now.
Sure.
But the point is that she doesn't have that anymore because she uses this product collection. So all that to say, this is such an important thing to share with people because it can change their life in such a significant way.
And understanding, helping people understand why they work, I think, is helpful, because we are not saying, here, buy this Nutriferin and it's going to cure your allergies. What we say is, why the difference between the holistic approach to health conditions and the traditional medical approach is that traditional medical approaches for allergies treat the symptoms. The holistic people say, what's the cause? And in the case of allergies, there's something screwy about the immune system. The immune system is weakened from something, and it's overreacting and to things. Why should a person be allergic to something like grass and trees?
Yeah.
And and cats and dogs, so it helps give people start with a mindset and understand we are talking about 60 million people with asthma and or allergies. That's 1 in 4. I mean, the market is huge, and sometimes there are things we know we can give people our products. We know they're going to feel better. But I'll tell you, when it comes to allergies, I am so completely confident about the improvement that people have that there is no question in my mind. It's just a question of, a couple of shifts in the diet. Always like to recommend that because there are certain foods that weaken the immune system, like sugar. Right. And there are foods that are also very mucus producing, like sugar and wheat and dairy. And so it always is a question. I can't think of any condition that we don't want to mooch people over to eating more vegetables, or at least eating some vegetables. I mean, you've got children who have allergies who eat no vegetables. I run into that all the time.
Yes.
And so it's such an easy thing to explain to people. So 40% of children now have allergies. 8 million of those are the respiratory type. Some are the food allergies also. But it's all the same thing. We've got to heal the gut. We got to build the immune system, okay? So just want people to understand it's not hard to explain to people, and then give them some examples of people that and there are some great sessions we've done on allergies that live at Better Health in 31 days. And so you can go and grab those also and give you all the information you need for that too. Lisa?
Very good. So here's that.
I wanted to add here, if you, that yes, this allergies were actually the first health issue that I addressed with my kids and my husband, and it made the hugest difference for us just in the time savings and the ability to go and do things that we had to just bow out of because, everybody was always sick. So the kids missed birthday parties of friends. We couldn't go camping. There were so many things that we couldn't do back then that it basically gave us a whole different life.
And Crystal, your kids also, didn't you notice a big difference in their school performance when they got off the medications?
Well, yeah, and it was not just it was the medications, because a lot of them make you drowsy and hard to keep your thought process going in one direction, but also it's the time that they were sick that then they were missing school quite a bit too. So just keeping the kids in school is a big part of their learning process, and it allowed them to be there.
Yeah,
Very good. Oh,
very
so good. So here are some just ideas of how to reach out and talk to people. Just kind of what I said about what I saw on the Today Show. But you could say, I've been hearing this year is predicted to be a severe allergy season, and I want to reach out and let people know that Shaklee has a tremendous option for that, right? Invite people to come to a call. I have seen, in fact, I think I just got one in my email right now, the most beautiful Facebook events right now for allergies. Just, a really beautiful wording and pictures and stuff where people are really reaching out to share this message. So, consider something with Facebook, invite people to a call, but just let people know that we have this option and that people get great results. I'm with Barb. I have great confidence in this area because it's such a tremendous turnaround, and it really does work. So, all right.
So a few more numbers so you see what that can mean for generating 1,000 PV.
So here's a couple of allergy prevention packages that are right around that target. Nutriferin, alfalfa, and chewable vitamin C is 60. Nutriferin, alfalfa, and Optiflora. There's your Get Clean Starter Kit, which really is a major component to the allergy conversation, because people with allergies, their body's having to deal with all of those chemicals in their home. And so if you can relieve that, that's a big deal. Of course, Vitalizer. So again, like Joe said, what if you were able to get out there and share these collections, 5 collections a week, right? You're impacting 5 families every week. You're increasing your PV, 1,000 PV a month. That's a big deal. Do that 2-3 months in a row. There's a directorship right there, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And then this, again, one of my favorite things to talk about, because it is the number one selling product in our organization. It's the number one auto ship, hands down. If I look at all of the auto ships we have, a huge proportion of them are Vitalizer, and then the families will add maybe a couple things here or there, but 1 or 2 Vitalizer a month going into a home makes a big impact on their health, and it's a nice little chunk of PV. So it's a great collection to share to grow your business as well. So, and then we have the family collection, which is a fun thing because when you work with little bodies, they respond big to nutrition. And I love to watch a child turn around. I didn't have a lot of testimonies this morning, but we have one little family with 3 boys, and they were sick for 8 months straight, could not get the kids well, on so many antibiotics and just miserable. And like Crystal said, the financial fallout to that, to everyone around them, was trying to handle that and deal with that. And finally, her sister-in-law was able to get her to take a look at Shaklee, and she called me crying. She said the kids are well. First time they've been well since the end of last summer. You know what I mean? And these 3 little boys are laughing and playing and giggling because they're well. And it's that simple. Just a few products make such a big difference. So this is a good collection to share with people as well. And I'll just say, people are looking. I believe it. I believe families are waking up every day looking for solutions. So you could be their answer. And I think that's important for people to realize that. So
good. Right. And then click right to the action steps, Joe. There's our summary.
Okay, so here's just some great things for you to focus on this week. Set up some healthy homes. Get some PV generated. Get that Earth Day message out there and share what we have that can make a huge impact. Offer some incentives around that Get Clean kit or products. Set up some allergy events. Again, this is the time of year to talk about it. People are starting to be miserable, so get in there and get some help to them. And then think about each one of us. Well, and I have to say, this is so cute. Have a goodbye to Flonase party. I think that is a great idea. Really good idea. And then think about yourself and your family. And, I think Barb and I were talking yesterday. She said, what if we just made 1 or 2 little changes every year? Again, I'm still baffled over Crystal's trash amount. I just can't believe that's possible. I'm so excited about that idea. But just make a little change for you to set example for your kids and the people in your life, because it makes sense and it doesn't cost much. It's just a shift in thinking and just a little bitty good habit that's going to be good for you and your environment. So there you go.
There's some other wonderful comments people have been making. I want to acknowledge and answer some of your questions. I love this from Kathy Pagan-Darman. I hope I haven't murdered your last name, but she's doing the worm composting.
Oh, nice.
I think that is so cool. She is a Cornell Master Gardener. Kathy, I've got to meet you. And love that. And Linda Longden, she said that she reduced her electric bill by 30% by switching to the LED lights.
Oh,
It's
wow. Yeah.
30%. And the pollen picture, Pam Hoffman asked about that. Crystal,
Yes.
you tell them what, it was the picture that you posted on Facebook. We're going to put this in our Facebook post of the week. Every week we do that. Tell them what you did on that picture.
It's funny because I was driving home in my all-electric Leaf that is my Shaklee car, and I had the windows down, and I was putting them up, told my sister that I had to turn on my air conditioning, which I really wasn't wanting to do, but it was because of the pollen all coming into the car. And I pulled in the driveway. My minivan was sitting there covered in pollen, and I got out and thought, gee, maybe my husband will come home early and wash it for me if I write like normal on the back, wash me on the back window. But instead,
I love the subtle notes that we leave for our spouses. Yes.
Instead, I just don't know why I thought of it, but I wrote with my finger in the pollen, allergies, I can help. And, of course, my Shaklee decal is right there on my back window. And I took the picture, and I posted it on Facebook with a little commentary on how much better our family is now since we got rid of all of our, Flonase and inhalers and all of that. And that post prompted people to ask all kinds of questions that I never even knew followed my posts. And then next news asked me to make a video about, gee, tell me what products that you use. So I found myself in front of my iPad trying to figure out how to make a video and post it to Facebook, which it was 5 minutes and took me 5 hours to get it posted, but it's out there. And it is generating so much interest for me.
Love it.
Yeah, that's just great. And Crystal, you might want to mention that you live in the Atlanta area, so at this time of the year, you're talking about yellow pollen that can be a couple inches thick on everything.
Oh, it is. And every year here, Lisa, is the worst pollen year ever.
Every year is the worst. I believe in it because that's what people say. This is the worst. It sounds terrible.
Oh, it's so great. So let's go to some of the questions that we have here and comments.
Somebody was asking if, I think this was about Becky's, $5 off Nutrifurin, if she created her own newsletter, or does she use shades? And it doesn't matter, I mean, just,
there's a number of, Frank Painter has one called Health Quest. Shades has one. And you know what we do is we make up one-page information sheets on different topics. Like there's one on allergies, there's one on
heart disease, there's one on
or
cold and flus. And
yes, I mean I have about 15 of them. I can't think of a single one of them. Children's health, we'll do women's health and so forth. Anyway, and every time somebody makes a member direct order, we mail them a postal mailing, and we enclose some kind of product information, because if you don't do that, how are they ever going to learn about other products? And so you can do things by email, but in today's world, email is not always as effective, and where people
often ignored.
Right, and easily deleted. And so but when you get something in the mail, that's more special today.
Mm-hmm. And you could send out you could do something on a postcard too, offering $5 off, and then having some bullet points about Nutrifurin or a testimonial story or something.
Yeah, you know what? We should probably. That's a good idea, Joe. Is we should put some of the postcard templates here that people are creating, and we could post them at that Better Future Starts Today website, and people could get them, because there's some clever things people have come up with on postcards, and then you can just have bunches of those run off. I think they do them at what is
Vistaprint, maybe?
Vistaprint is where I get them.
Vistaprint?
I have done 2 rounds of postcard mailings now to my group, and I am getting the best results from them because it's engaging because of the pictures. People read them, and it takes them 2 seconds. You can do, I think I did 500 postcards from Vistaprint for $40. You know, they're cheaper to mail. So you can do some, and I did a little spot on MindWorks on the back. Thank you, Cheryl Mangan, if she's on, because she gave me the verbiage. It's great. Little spot on the back of the postcard about MindWorks. I had a couple pictures on the front of my family, and then some Shaklee pictures, and it just, you know, I think that's a great idea. So
very good. So we will. These are all going to. Many of you are asking for the slides today. As always, they are archived at bobsfiles.net, or those of you who are subscribers to the Better Health in 31 Days, we now have a sister website called Better Future Starts Today. We actually have been using that more because it's easier to retrieve from there, and you can get podcasts from there, which means people can listen to the webinars when they are working out, going for walks, making dinner, that sort of thing. So those are great places, so we make everything available for you.
This question's for you, Barb. Can you spray Basic H on a cat using the glass cleaner formula?
No. Here's what you do with a cat. This is not hard. Is you put them up on I use a bathroom sink that has a ledge, and you start petting them. And you know how they do all that fun, like go behind the ear over here and stuff. And then you gradually dip your hands into lukewarm water. Warm water, and each time you pet them, you're putting more water on them. Now they're getting wet, but they don't even know it because you're petting them. And then you put straight Basic H on, and it'll drown any fleas that they have. And the only part that gets a little tricky is the rinse off. You got to do that real fast, and then quickly wrap them in a towel. But it's not bad. The whole operation is pretty fast, but the first part works fine. The rinse off is a little trickier.
I thought cats clean themselves.
But not for fleas. Fleas have to be, because the fleas know they go in places on the cat's body where they can't get them.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's fleas are really terrible. They bite them, and it causes them to get anemic, because they're taking the blood.
Oh.
When you wash them, I mean, the water gets red from the dried blood.
Oh.
But it's wonderful to do that. Now, if you have indoor cats, you won't have a problem with that. But if you live in warm climates, that's an issue. Good. Anyway, that's your cat washing lesson for today.
Okay, someone's asking about what's up with the dryer sheets. They're hard to tear. You know what I do when I open a new box of the dryer sheets? I just go in, I just cut them in half. We only use a half a dryer sheet at a time.
They're so effective. Yeah, I still use the liquid. I fill a spray bottle with water, and then I put about maybe a fourth of the bottle I put in the liquid, and then I spray the lump of wet clothes when I throw it in the dryer.
Yeah,
that's nice too, because I like the fragrance of it, but it's pretty minimal. Good. Okay. Thank you for your wonderful suggestions today. Did we get most of them, Joe?
Yeah. How does garlic help with allergies?
Oh, alfalfa. Garlic? Oh, garlic and alfalfa. They both seem to be like natural decongestants, natural antihistamines. And in fact, yesterday I was over at Tyson's house where Tyson and Jen have these little bitty kids, and the baby, who was about a year old, when I got there, she was all congested, her nose was all congested, which makes it hard for them to eat, and take a bottle. And she, I crushed one alfalfa in whatever I was feeding her in the morning. And do you know, it cleared her up, and I didn't have to wipe her nose again until 5 o'clock. And then I crushed another one to have them put in her dinner food. And I mean, that stuff is so effective, and it's so healthy. It's so healthy for alfalfa is probably one of the healthiest plants on the planet. It's really phenomenal. Yeah, so it's really great. Now, an adult, I mean, that baby weighs, I don't know, what does that baby weigh? 20 pounds, if that.
Yeah, maybe.
Whereas, so an adult might take a handful of them, maybe 5 or 6 or 7. That's why, that's the only downside of alfalfa for a new person. If you say, here, take 10 of these a day, and they go, but just think, it literally is little food tablets.
Yeah.
Crystal's last name, it's Crystal Johnson, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Crystal, they want to talk to you on Facebook. So
I have a Facebook business page. I'm just out there as me, Crystal Johnson.
And it's JOHNSON, right?
Right.
And are there a million other Johnsons out there?
Oh, yes.
You're the Atlanta Crystal Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, that'll help them too. Yeah, great. Thanks, Crystal, for joining us, and thanks everybody for joining us. This is such an important topic. Thanks.
Someone's asking, the Get Clean kit, you get free membership.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so awesome. I love that.
Mm-hmm. One of the other ways you can do it. There's so many ways to get free memberships. It's really working well. Very good. All right. Thanks, everyone. So next week, inside the planning session, we are going to be giving you, Becky Choate is going to join us, and we're going to be giving you the perspective from people who have advanced in their businesses. They feel because of these weekly conversations that they have with their uplines, and to share with each of us, how can we be more effective in coaching? Because Joe and I were just saying yesterday, how would we learn that? If you're working with your first downline, you're kind of practicing on them. Which is not always the best idea. And so we were thinking to help us all understand, what is that experience like for the person being coached, the person who is advancing in their business, to find out what is most helpful for them and what is not helpful for them. Then we're a little more prepared as we begin working with our downlines. So that's the plan for next week.
Yep, great.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And then just another reminder, we will be wrapping up this semester at the end of April. We'll be taking the month of May off, and we will be returning in June and do our 8 weeks to director in June in our summer school. Okay, see you all then.
Sounds great. Have a super week and do some marketing this month.
Yeah.
Very good.
1,000 PV. And so let us know when you do that. That really is helpful then, that we can share with others what you did. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.